Hello everyone and welcome to the Erik Bryant Show. This is episode 6 and didn't come to you last night with an episode, but today hopefully we'll be getting episode 6 and episode 7 for you of the Erik Bryant Show. Got a lot of stuff to talk about here, being in the sports world and outside of the sports world as well. So we'll go ahead and get started. We'll talk a little bit of NBA news to start things off. The Minnesota Timberwolves signed former Utah Jazz forward Andre Kirilenko to a 2-year, $20 million contract. Timberwolves trying to improve on their past couple seasons of being a decent basketball team. They're trying to add Kirilenko as another piece to that team and perhaps maybe make the playoffs, maybe a low 7 or 8 seed. It'd be a good start for them to try and get back into the playoff picture. Kirilenko, a pretty good player, is a 6'10" guy who can shoot from the outside, drive to the basket, plays pretty decent defensively, so that should be a good addition to the Timberwolves team. 3-team trade. The Phoenix Suns traded Robin Lopez and Hakeem Warrick to the New Orleans Hornets. The Phoenix Suns will be getting Wesley Johnson and a first-round draft pick from the Minnesota Timberwolves. The T-Wolves get guard Jerome Dyson and retiring center Brad Miller from the Hornets, as well as 2 second-round picks, while the New Orleans Hornets will receive cash. The Timberwolves, with getting Brad Miller, the retiring center, they will be able to take his money off of the books, so it'll be $4.25 million, $4.25 that they can take off of the books and use to try and sign more free agents, or perhaps save up later on down the line, maybe middle of the season for a trade deadline next season, or perhaps next off season in the free agent market then. The Hornets also traded Gustavo Ion to Orlando for forward Ryan Anderson. So the Hornets trying to stockpile young players and good talented players, already trying to build that team off of last year's first-round draft pick Eric Gordon and this year's first-round #1 pick overall Anthony Davis, as well as their first-round pick, 10th pick overall, and Antoine Rivers. They got Ryan Anderson from the Magic, and also, as I said earlier, have big man Robin Lopez and Hakeem Warrick. So they're trying to stockpile in the front court, try and build up some size, some strength, some athleticism there to probably slowly but surely climb back into the playoff race the way they were when Chris Paul was a member of the Hornet team. The Cleveland Cavaliers get Jeremy Pargo, who is the young brother of Jamaro Pargo, the veteran guard. Jeremy goes to Cleveland, and a second-round pick in 2014, and cash from the Memphis Grizzlies for guard forward DJ Kennedy. So the Cavs getting another guard to try and back up Kyrie Irving, who they're hoping will be ready to go by the beginning of the next season. Some NFL news. The Carolina Panthers center Ryan Khalil took out a full-page ad in the Charlotte Observer on Tuesday, telling fans that they will be Super Bowl champions, and he does mean this year. They're going to win the Super Bowl this year, according to Ryan Khalil. Cam Newton, coming into his second year, had a great rookie season, number-wise for a rookie. He did very well, and not even really number-wise for a rookie. Number-wise, period. I mean, he had over 4,000 passing yards. So he had a good job, or he did a good job in his rookie season, and they're hoping that he's going to be able to follow that up with another solid year. I don't see any reason why he wouldn't be able to, but Super Bowl champs, I think that's way far-fetched, because I don't see the Panthers winning the division. I see them finishing third in that division behind the Saints and Falcons, and not necessarily in that order. The Jacksonville Jaguars owner says he will not be offering Maurice Jones-Drew a new deal. Maurice is supposed to be making $4.45 million this season and $4.95 million next year. He will be fined $30,000 a day for every day that he's not in training camp, and today he was fined $30,000 because he was not a part of the Jaguars training camp, which opened today. So we'll see how many days he goes without reporting, and $30,000 will add up after a while. And to me and you, $30,000 a day is a ton of money. It's like $1 million to people who have, to rich people who have money to just throw away, obviously. Which I think is kind of funny, because I'm not saying that football players shouldn't ask for more money if they're the star of their team, the leader of their team. Like, clearly Maurice Jones-Drew is the leader of the Jags, and let's be honest, probably the only decent player they have. But a lot of times people are saying, you know, well, I'm only making $4.45 million this season, I deserve more. I'm one of the top running backs and things like that. And while I believe he is a top running back, you have to remember that when these guys first sign these deals, there's something called a signing bonus that they get. And sometimes they get, you know, a ridiculous amount. Could be $14 million, $15 million, $18 million, you know, signing bonus. And they get that right up front. So technically, with the contract structured at the end, let's say a guy's supposed to make $8 million and they get a $14 million signing bonus, $14 million signing bonus. Technically, they've made $22 million, but you only see the $8 million because that's what's paid yearly, and the other, of course, signing bonus is paid up front. But Maurice Jones-Drew is a good running back. He probably does deserve to get a little bit more money to stay with a team like Jacksonville, but it's just funny to me, just wanted to bring that up, funny to me how players soon forget about the signing bonus when they get all that money up front. Chad Johnson was Chad Ochocinco, now back to Chad Johnson. I never called him Ochocinco because to me it was dumb. Chad Johnson said that the Patriots didn't allow him to be himself last year, and that's why he had a bad season. Only caught the ball 15 times last year. He says he's going back to his normal ways. When he was at his best, getting fined, he was producing better numbers than he ever had in his career when he was getting fined. When he was talking trash week after week to opposing teams, opposing cornerbacks and things. He said that things don't go right when you try to change the way you do things, and he said he's better off running his mouth. So he's blaming the Patriots for a bad season to where he only caught 15 passes, which I find kind of funny, because I mean I guess, okay, it's the Patriots' fault that you didn't learn the playbook either, Chad. I mean, the guy was clueless. You watch games, he's running routes that aren't even in the book. He's running routes that don't exist for the Patriots. He's just going out there running anywhere he wants to run, and that's not the way the offense is built in New England and most teams in the NFL. That's why they have playbooks. You learn them. You figure out the plays for the team. You find out what plays work best for certain teams. You learn that play. You learn those plays. and then you get out there and you put yourself in a position to catch the football more than 15 times. You put yourself in a position to score touchdowns, make big plays for your team. It has nothing to do with talking trash. And also, I'd like to point out, Chad, that when you were talking trash, yes, you were producing. But it wasn't because you were talking trash to the cornerbacks and the other opposing team and you were trying to play harder to prove yourself. The point is, you were producing more because you were younger. You're now up in your years. You're up in your career in the NFL. You're in your 30s. That might be why your production has slid a little bit, because you're getting older. Don't try to fool people and say, well, you know, my production's fine. I'm still the player I was 5 years ago, 8 years ago, 10 years ago, whatever. No, you're not. And it's not because of your trash talking or the Patriots saying, no, we don't want you to go out there and make a fool out of yourself. It's the fact that you're getting up in years, Chad. Just face that. It makes me laugh because the man took a pay cut, or not really even a pay cut. He just went to the Miami Dolphins, which is not a better team than the Patriots. They haven't been in a long time, and they won't be in a long time. He goes to Miami. I'd rather play for a worse team that's probably not even going to make the playoffs, but I can be myself. Well, if that's the price you want to take for being yourself, for being an idiot who talks garbage all the time, then go ahead and do that, Chad. But you can do it on a 5 or 6 win team, if that many. I mean, I don't know. To me, I would call that pretty stupid, because I'd rather play for Tom Brady, him being my quarterback, than having a quarterback trio that could consist of Matt Moore, David Garrard, and Ryan Tannehill, a rookie. I mean, to me, common sense tells you Brady is the better bargain on that one. But I guess we'll see how much trash Chad talks and how well he backs it up, and just how good of a season he has this year with the Miami Dolphins. Jason Garrett said that he supports Dez Bryant and his family, and he will help them in any way that he can. So first, Tony Romo, the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys, says he's standing behind Dez Bryant. He supported him, and now Dez has the support of his head football coach, which I guess is a great team unity move. Stick behind your players, stay with him, because negativity is only going to give the media something to talk about and drive a wedge in between the team and put deception in the ranks amongst the Dallas Cowboys. So I think they are doing a wise thing by coming out publicly and saying we are behind Dez Bryant. And one more football note, something that I just saw recently is Colt Brennan, the 2007 Heisman Trophy finalist, was arrested for DUI in Hawaii this morning, and cops say that drugs were involved. The former University of Hawaii star quarterback, who later spent a couple of disappointing years in the NFL, according to TMZ, was arrested at 11:50 p.m. Wednesday. And the 28-year-old was busted for suspicion of drunken driving and promotion of a dangerous drug in the 3rd degree, which basically means drug possession, but it was unclear of what Colt was accused of possessing. I remember him years ago, 2007, senior, playing in a big bowl game, Hawaii playing against Georgia. Everybody saying, you know, Colt Brennan's he doesn't have the stuff to be drafted in the 1st round, but he'll be a high draft pick, a 2nd round pick, a 3rd round pick, and he was drafted pretty well. But just one of those busts that never got to play, never got to do anything. And now Colt, not only a bust in the NFL, but you've been busted, my friend, now for drugs. Well, that's the end of part 1. We'll come back with part 2 with some wrestling. and talk a little bit more about other things. We'll be back.